So the single biggest difference between financial success and financial failure is how well you manage your money. And I'm sure everyone would agree with that. Is it simple to master money? I don't know. But must we manage our money? Absolutely. And that's from T.R. Becker, for those who are familiar with him. Now, a gentleman who I'm very familiar with, I had an opportunity to have lunch with him, an amazing guy. His name is Robert Kiyosaki. He wrote the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Some of you may be familiar with that book. But Robert says something. We're not taught financial literacy in school. It takes a lot of time to change our minds and how we think about, money and financial literacy. And I'll say this, guys, I wasn't taught financial literacy. I come from a family where my dad was in the military. Young age, mom and dad got divorced. My stepdad was also in the military. We didn't have much money. Okay. And my family taught us a lot of love, a lot of education. I graduated college with 2 degrees, a lot of integrity and respect. But it didn't teach us anything about money. The schools didn't teach us anything about money. And so like anyone else, we found ourselves struggling until we connected with a mentor that was able to change our minds as it pertains to money. But with that said, here's 5 shocking facts you didn't know about your finances. Number 1, ladies and gentlemen, America is in $1 trillion of credit card debt. And that's what people found themselves. They borrow from their future, like my wife and I had to do just to pay for today. Here's another one for you. 56% of the people in the United States don't have rainy day funds. And that's unfortunate. Bank of America gave a statistic out last year. For those who bank with Bank of America, the average family didn't have $1,000 in savings here in the United States. And that's not good. Now, in addition to that, baby boomers, a lot of folks right now are thinking about their retirement. Heck, I'm 47 years old. I'm thinking about my retirement. But there are people who are 60, 70. Right now, Social Security is not going to do it. And they're like, what am I going to do? Am I going to be on a real tiny fixed income? What's going to happen? And so millennials, our younger, enterprising folks, who are out there making it happen, getting a lot of things going, but unfortunately, in many instances, being influenced to spend more money than they absolutely have. When I grew up, they said, to be like the Joneses, but today the younger folks say, hey, let's do it for the gram. But the point is, there are folks right now at a younger age not really thinking about, tomorrow. And honestly, when I was that young, I didn't either. And so this is a sad statistic. And this was me, prior to understanding a little bit more about financial literacy. But most Americans have less than a 600 credit score. Now, is that a death sentence? No. Can it be changed? Absolutely. And that's why many of us, have joined us tonight to find out some possibilities. If you're in this situation, how this can be changed for you. Now, what does bad credit do for folks, or what can it do? It brings on anxiety. Some people get embarrassed. When I start using a credit repair service and I would ask my friends, hey, how's your score? And these are my friends. We've been friends for years. People would, shy off like, it's like almost asking a lady for their age, so to speak. And so, some folks, when they have bad credit, they're embarrassed. They get frustrated. Fear sets in. They're confused. They don't know what to do. But here's the deal. That doesn't make you bad. There's nothing to be ashamed of. I'll tell you this. When I was in college, and for some crazy reason, credit card companies give credit cards to freshmen, who don't have jobs, And I was one of those kids, and I destroyed my credit. I didn't know any better. I didn't have any credit cards prior to going to college. And I don't know about you. This may not be your story, but this is my story. When I was in college, my first year, I had a couple of credit cards, but my grandmother's kind of old school. And I don't know if anybody has any old school grandmothers. She's a survivor, may she rest in peace. But she called me. She said, Rabu, send me a couple of them credit cards, like literally. And so I did, being a obedient grandson. And she tore those credit cards up. By the time I graduated college, with my being, negligence and my grandmother's negligence topped on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, I couldn't get a bottle of water on credit, And maybe that's your story as well. But here's the deal. In contrast to having bad credit, when you have good credit, people feel more confident, excited. They look at life as more abundant. And, those are some things that's the truth in many instances. And so let's talk about how your credit score is calculated. Now, 35% of your credit history is based on how you pay your bills, And that's important, ladies and gentlemen. I know we all know it's important to pay our bills, but like now, there are folks in a situation where I have a friend who owns 2 restaurants. Things are tight for him right now. He's probably going to have some bills that aren't going to be paid, and that's going to negatively affect his credit score. your capacity of what you owe, your net to debt ratio. If you're that person with a, $2,000 limit, but if you spent about $1,000 already on that credit card, that's not good. And God forbid you find yourself and you're overextended. You're over the limit. That's even worse. And so that's a big chunk of how your credit score is calculated. Length of credit, for those who don't have a credit established for them, you want to have credit established for you. I'll tell you this. My wife and I, we have a 17-year-old. And, she has a car now. She drives. But next year, we're going to buy her a car. And we're going to co-sign. We're going to get on a couple of credit cards with her. Now, she's responsible, and we're going to help. By the time she graduates college, she'll be established with credit. Are you with me? And that's our job. It's not our job, but that's what we choose to do for our child. So her length of time, her length of credit will show good for her by the time she walks into the workplace, if that makes sense. New credit inquiries. Obviously, for those who do know, whether someone inquires on your credit, whether it's, you get declined or you get accepted. Inquiries have a weighing on your credit. And then lastly, there are other types of credit as well. And so ultimately, a good credit score opens up possibilities, for better lifestyle for those who might desire that. Now, good credit makes things easier. Here's something in particular. New houses. Okay, you have good credit, especially for those who are in the real estate market. The old saying, other people's money. That's right. Borrow some money if you have good credit. Buy some properties. That's a big deal. New cars. That's a big deal. Low interest rates on credit cards and loans. Why pay more interest if you can pay less? And good credit will work for you in that manner. Keeping the higher limits. When my wife and I went in a bad situation, we were in a position where we were able to borrow $50,000, $60,000 because our credit was good. Contracts with security deposit. Who wants to pay security deposits? And here's one for you that's not written here, but employment. I have a friend right now who works in HR. She just had to lay off 4,300 people. That's huge. However, we had a conversation before this corona thing happened, and she would tell me how, people with better credit, and this is just what it is, people with better credit, when they apply for the job, even if people had the same experience, the same degrees, they took that person with better credit. And so, ladies and gentlemen, good credit really, really works for people and can work for you. And so tonight we're going to talk about United Credit Educational Services, and they're the company that provides these services to help people increase their financial status, okay? And this is an incredible company, been around since 2004, and they've helped Americans all throughout the United States have a better, stable finances. And so UCS is committed to helping individuals and families build and organize and protect their financial future. And that's their claim to fame, and they've been able to do a great job of that. Now, they're phenomenal. They have award-winning protection plans, okay? And there are a couple here, and I'll go over them a little bit in detail. But ladies and gentlemen, look at these services from budgeting all the way to a will and trust. Now, let's go a little bit of detail. Credit restoration. Our credit restoration is offered by our nonprofit, okay, our 501(c)(3). Now, this is amazing. I am a recipient of credit restoration. I'll tell you a quick story. During that real estate time when I was buying properties, my wife and I, we had a rental property. We had a young lady, that we were rented to, and she was Section 8, and I grew up Section 8 as a kid. So, it was what it was. I wanted to help her out, and she was Section 8. But I didn't know one thing. When she decided to move in, her rent was $1,100, I believe, but I was renting my apartment for $1,400. And, we had an agreement. Section 8 would pay $1,100. She'd pay me $300 on top of that, which made it $1,400. I did not know that was against the law. Okay, I was super green. We had just bought some apartments. We had no clue. Okay, and so unfortunately, she couldn't pay rent, and a year went by, and it was hard to get her out the apartment. And by the time we did so, I had to take her to court. I go to court thinking, hey, she hadn't paid rent for about 6 months. I'm going to win. I'll get some money back. Well, I was sadly mistaken. Once I explained to the judge, unknowingly, I said, hey, judge, the agreement was Section 8 paid 11. She's supposed to pay me 300. And the judge said, don't say that again in my courtroom. I was like, what are you talking about? That was our agreement. I didn't know that was against the law, ladies and gentlemen. I was hit with a fine. I had a judgment put on my credit report. And my wife and I walked out of the courtroom that day. I stroked a check for the fine. I'm thinking it's going to go away. For 7 years, that judgment was on my report. And then, I talked to a couple of people. Oh, yeah, it's supposed to fall off for 7 years. 8 years, it was still on my report. 9 years, it was still on my report until I got some credit restoration done. And then it was off of my report, ladies and gentlemen. So credit restoration is powerful. Our company also has a credit builder. Now, if you want to get your credit restored, you want to also have it built. And our company will work with you. And that's important. 99.9% of the work is done by UCES, okay? We're not asking you to do anything. It's minimal work, okay? 99% of the work is done by us. And they'll help you build your credit. Credit monitoring. You know, I have a friend right now. He was moving from Florida to California. And he moved from Florida to California. He went to apply for an apartment in California and was denied. Why? He had a 500 credit score. He had no clue. His credit was 7+. And when he went to, fill out for the apartment, they denied him. He had no clue that his credit was hit. Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to have an opportunity to have your credit monitored, on a daily basis. So you will know in advance. Well, not in advance, but when something happens. Credit attorneys. Wouldn't it be nice if you find yourself in a situation that's, monumental or something where you need extra resources or some muscle? We have credit attorneys that can help you with that as well. And so let's talk about organizing your financial future. It's one thing to get you built up and get that credit great, but when it comes to financial literacy, you want to not only have great credit standing, you not only want to be protected, have the help of a service like ours, you also want to make sure you're getting that budget correct. And budgeting, ladies and gentlemen, is like a sore tooth for some folks. They don't always like it, but it's good to budget. And budget is freedom, in my opinion. You get to spend what you want to spend, whenever you want to spend. And we have a program that can help you with that. When we talk about net worth, I don't know about you, but if you want to grow a net worth, you at least need to know where we're starting. We have programs that can help you increase your net worth and teach you about it. Our YFL Family Man, I'll talk a little bit about that later on, and debt payoff. This is amazing. There are many of us who have student loans, you have car loans, you have mortgages, you have credit union loans, you have credit cards with different interest rates. Well, there are algorithms and different programs and different education that can show you how to pay those things off in a timely fashion, ladies and gentlemen. That's a big deal. And so as we move along, let's talk about protecting your future. Identity monitoring. Now, there's some folks, and hey, I was one of those people at that time when my credit was so jacked up. I didn't care if someone stole my identity. They might give it back, okay? But at this point in my life, I'm in a good place, and, my finances in a good place. My identity's in a good place. I'm a target. So if you're that person, get your credit built up and you're in a good place, you're a target. And so we want to be in a position to help you. And with identity theft protection, ladies and gentlemen, and monitoring, that's exactly what our company will do. They can help you ward off things. And if things do happen, they'll go to work for you to get it fixed. A will and trust. This all falls into finances. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people who don't have a will in the United States today. And, God forbid, you don't have a will, you pass away, and you have small children. Your children can become wards of the state. That's important. I don't know about you, but I have some family members, if I didn't have a will and I pass away, somebody's going to argue. I was at his house last. I should get that TV. You know what I mean? And so a will is important. And a trust, if you're going to leave something behind, it's important to have it in a trust so you can help negate some taxes. And so this is huge, ladies and gentlemen. And our company offers this for you as well. And that's part of our protection plan. Financial lockbox. We all have sensitive information. We all have emergencies. That financial lockbox program is in store for you in the event of an emergency, where you can have your information stored away just in case. And then lastly, savings goals. It's not how much you make, it's how much you keep that counts. There are a lot of people who just can't save. When I grew up, our family got paid on Friday. By Monday, the money was gone. People weren't taught good saving habits. And so we can help you with that too. Our program is not just about fixing your credit. It's about making you whole financially from start to finish. And so the great thing about this is you're going to have a roadmap. And these things aren't done overnight. Nothing that you want that's good is done overnight. They say if it's fast, it won't last. All right. Well, what's great about this, ladies and gentlemen, our company has a roadmap, a step-by-step program that'll let you know what you need to get done now, what you need to get done a couple of months from now, all the way to 10 months and ongoing. This is like having a financial mentor on your side saying, okay, great, we got you here. Let's get you here. Let's get you here. And let's get you here. Are you with me? And let's help you stay here. So I'm excited about this. And many of our customers and clients are excited about the fact that they have a program that can work with them side by side to help increase their financial literacy. Now, what's real cool about this, all of this is accessible via your dashboard. Okay, on your PC. I'm in front of my PC all the time, but I know a lot of folks, they don't do PCs, they do phones. So we have some incredible apps, ladies and gentlemen, where you can access your information, where you can be notified, monitoring. It's absolutely incredible. And people love the accessibility through our apps. Now, for all the services I'm talking about, I want to ask you a question. I don't know if anyone's ever had credit repair done, but I did, and it's expensive. I have a friend right now who does credit repair. He starts at $2,500, and he said, depends on the situation, he'll charge as high as $5,000. Well, I don't know. That's a lot of money in my opinion. $1,000 is a lot of money in my opinion. But for everything I just went over, let's just scratch credit repair. Just remove that out the equation. Identity monitoring, the net worth program, the will and trust alone is far, that could be very expensive. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you can get all these services for less than a cup of coffee a day, would you be excited? Absolutely, you would. And there's someone who's watching this for the first time. You're like, okay, come on. Where's the catch? There's no catch. These services are offered to you and your family for less than a cup of coffee a day. For one time, $188, and that covers your first month's service. That's a big deal. Okay, you have all these services available for you and your family. And then it's $89 a month. And I don't know about you, and I don't want to count your money because I don't want to spend your money. I don't want you spending mine. But for all the services I have in my household, this is one of the best services that my wife and I have available to us. And we gladly, are happy to spend $89 a month. But what if I told you that there was an opportunity where you didn't have to spend the $89 a month? Okay, would that get your attention? If I mentioned to you there's an opportunity that you didn't have to spend the $89 a month, that would get my attention. See, I'm not cheap. I'm frugal, okay? And if I could save some money, why not? Well, ladies and gentlemen, our company has an amazing, amazing customer referral program where if you refer 5 people to this service, your $89 a month disappears. That's incredible. Now, I have services in my house. I have my heating services. I have, my electrical services. I have lawn care, you name it. I have a whole bunch of services, but if I refer people to those services, I don't get any money off. I don't get a letter in the mail saying thank you. I don't get a holiday card. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here, you refer 5 people, your services are taken care of. That's incredible. This company's thought of everything, but it gets a little bit better than that as well. The testimonies. I'm so happy to hear other people who are using these services. And the deeper you look into our company, the better we look. Here's someone, Jared from New Jersey, over 150 points in 6 weeks. That's huge. Here's someone, Alexandra from North Carolina. She said, this may not be big to you, but to that person, 50 points, their credit score went up. And obviously there are other testimonies here. For the interest of time, won't go into that much detail. But the great thing about our services is that they work. And when services work, people are happy to refer them. Now, another way to offset your costs, our company has another portion of our plan that you will have readily available to you. And ladies and gentlemen, that's called our Shop for Less. And this is incredible. Now, I know a lot of people might not be shopping right now because the corona thing is going on. But when we get back into the swing of things, okay, you go out to your favorite restaurant. Hey, you take an Uber ride. When you go through this app that you're able to download on your phone, up to 5.4% back. Use it at Home Depot. I know you guys go to Home Depot, CVS. If you're like me, you go to Whole Foods. You know what Whole Foods mean? Whole check. Okay, so if I could get 5.4% back, why not? And I could take that extra money to offset the $89 that I'm spending a month. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited to be able to share this information with you, but here's a couple of things about this company that warms my heart. Whenever you get this protection plan in place, our company donates $2 per every protection plan is paid for back to the youth. That's right, financial literacy programs, ladies and gentlemen, for 5th to 9th grade. Remember, I mentioned earlier on, and this is my story, I don't know if it's your story, I didn't grow up in a house with financial literacy. Again, we had a lot of love, ton of education, integrity, honor, but no money. Now, children are being taught, because of this company, how to be more financial literate. So when they step into the work world, ladies and gentlemen, or into the business sector, they have a leg up. And if you can give kids a leg up, why not? This company over the last 4 years has given over $1 million back in scholarships, ladies and gentlemen. That's huge. That's incredible. That's impressive. You know, I have a 17-year-old who's going to school in a minute. I want you to think about it. You know, I'm a dad. We do okay financially, but we're trying to get as many scholarships for her as humanly possible. Are you with me? And so this can be a major blessing to people. And so with that, you want to take care of your financial future, you can do it today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that's my time.